Hello and welcome back to the Patient First podcast. I am so glad you're here. And today I'm fired up a little bit. And so to wrap up my energy into a question that I have for you that I think will be helpful is to ask yourself this question. When you're thinking about your business, think about the last time that you failed hard. I mean, really face planted. So I just did. A partner of mine that I've worked with for a few years on a project. The project went completely south, right? So myself and my team, frankly, executed at an incredible level, a level that I don't know anybody else that could in working in this type of sphere. We really crushed it, but I overtrusted the partner to implement something small, not once, not twice, not three times, but four times, and yet the project still face planted, right? The reason why I mention that is try to think of a time in your practice, in your business, in your even in your personal life, where you did everything you possibly could, yet the results sucked. It's not a fun place to be. And for me, it's a bit of a struggle. So I'm airing out my grievances and my thoughts to you today in hopes that will help you. And so, why is this a big problem? I think there's two things that we should unpack and discuss that hopefully will help you the next time this happens, and that you might even push for this to happen more in your life. And I'll talk about why in just a second. So, number one, the first thing I want to talk about is that I personally, and I've taken a bunch of different personality tests, so I've found out that I'm a results oriented person. Not a little bit, a lot of it. Results oriented versus people oriented. Now, I like people just fine, but I define my own success by the results that we obtain as a team. Nothing's done alone. You know, everything I do, this podcast, the books, the technology, everything we do is sort of in the agency of others, right? So everything includes a people and a team. But when it comes to defining my success, I'm more interested in winning the game on a subconscious level, while others might be more interested on a subconscious level of the team dynamics. Now, one isn't better than the other. In fact, you need both, but I myself personally am wired to be results oriented. Now, if you take this and you couple it with point number two, which I believe completely to my core to be true, then you can see why this is an issue. Because point number two is, and I'm going to say this slowly and twice so you can write it down. If you are not failing, you are not progressing. Again, I'll say it again. If you are not failing, you are not progressing. Why is that? Well, let me give you some examples from nature. A muscle has to tear to grow. But when you lift weights, as we all know, the way the muscle grows is that you're ripping it so that it makes itself stronger to grow. A caterpillar, to become a butterfly, has to literally deconstruct its own anatomy and then reconstruct itself. Maybe in a more actionable way. I'm a snowboarder. Maybe some of you are skiers or snowboarders. It doesn't really matter. Whatever sport you do, if you haven't fallen that day as a skier or a snowboarder, you probably didn't push yourself as hard as you could. So you didn't learn as much as you could if you didn't fall, right? I think that's an important life lesson. If you couple that with really being results oriented, when you do fall, I take it really hard, right? And that's just the way that life works. And not everyone on your team in your personal life is really looking to grow. So you might be pushing yourself hard and those other people can't keep up. If you're a lead dog on the sled and you got yourself a Dotson in the back, they're just going to be dragged along for the ride. And there's a lot of that in the world. So every once in a while, right, just do yourself a favor and ask yourself if you are falling flat, right? Even if the responsibility lies somewhere else other than your sphere of influence, you can still fail. And that's not a bad thing. Let me give you some examples from your practice. What about that full mouth reconstruction that you did that then, even though you did everything right, you had a problem? Maybe a restoration fractured. Well, it could have been something incorporated incorrectly at the lab. It could have been the patient went home and opened a beer bottle with their teeth. You can't control everything. And so really going for those big things, even if you have failures, looking at those failures different than you do today, or I do today anyway, can be helpful. in your business, there could be a macro trend that comes and slaps you across the face that couldn't see coming. Like COVID came, and we all had cascading effects to our businesses, to our practices, to our personal lives that were unforeseen. You can't control that, right? Or maybe you have an employee, or in my case, a partner that just, let's face it, sucks at their role. They don't do what they said they would do, or somebody on their team, or somebody, maybe your employee has a personal issue that they can't deal with at the time, right? So there's a lot of things we can't control. So ask yourself this question: when was the last time that you failed the right way? Meaning you pushed yourself, your team, your goals to the point where something unforeseen happened and made you miss the mark. Okay. Think about that for a little bit. And then I want to urge you to look back at this, and urge myself, frankly, to look at this with gratitude towards yourself and your team for doing everything you could. Be grateful for pushing yourselves to greatness and not allowing those who are mired in mediocrity to slow you down. Okay. That's very hard to do. So I'm going to mention it again. Be very grateful that you're doing the work, that you're pushing for greatness, and that you're not going to allow those who are mired in mediocrity to slow you down. And to those who are mired in mediocrity, and there's a lot of people out there, who are doing that, what would it look like if you could stand for something and push yourself for greatness? The world and the dental industry, for sure, has an overabundance of soulless business automatrons that are just looking to suck the profit and brain trust of dental professionals that are working hard to put patients first every day. I don't think those who are mediocre need to join us, but I do think it would be in your own best interest. So for those of you who are having a hard time, and I know that there are hard times out there right now, and you're pushing for greatness, you're doing your best for your patients, for your team, I truly salute you. And if there's anything that I can do to help you out, please reach out to me. One of my favorite things to do with my time now is helping the wonderful dental professionals that are out there struggling every day to do their work to really progress the industry and your personal life. So if I can help at any way, be sure to reach out and let me know, or leave a comment in the comments below. I love reading comments. If you're having a struggle, let me know when you failed last. That would be kind of fun to read. Sometimes they can be funny failures too. So I look forward to talking with you next week at the Patient First podcast, where we're looking to progress ourselves and make dentists more profitable. Thank you very much.